long story short, that team was not my people's. That's what people really have to understand. And I wish they showed that in the show because me and John were the only true people in that crew. The other three, I got to tell you, they don't do nothing for me. If I could just get a sign, I think I would just self-eliminate right now. If I just had a sign, we are never going to say a word to each other. So I'm okay with that.
What's up, guys? It's Ava and Ivy, and today we have a very special guest on the podcast. You might know him from getting $1 million from hitting a button. Welcome, JT, to the podcast. Say hey, JT.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? JT player 126, Beast Game Season 2. Yeah, $1 million winner. That's me. Nice having me. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it all.
Of course. We have a billionaire on the podcast. This is huge. This is huge. Before we get too much into Beast Games, why don't you give a background about yourself and maybe something that wasn't highlighted on the show?
Well, it was pretty obvious. I'm a New York State court officer. They highlighted that. I think one of the main reasons why I got onto Team Strong was all my accolades as far as men's physique and bodybuilding. Had a bunch of top 3 finishes with that. I'm a Spartan race competitor. I thought they were going to put that in there, give me something. They just said, all right, this guy's law enforcement. I was like, all right, that's fine, whatever. But that's really it, honestly. Everything they showed in the show depicted exactly who I was and what I do. So I was pretty happy with the edits and all that stuff.
That's awesome to hear. I didn't know you were Spartan racer. I didn't know you did bodybuilding. So that's nice to know, as a strong competitor. Okay, so kind of hearing that background and going back to thinking about your mindset when you were entering the game, did you have a specific mindset going in? Were you really confident in yourself? Did you have a strategy? And how did that kind of change once you saw, I guess, the first challenge in episode 1?
So it's funny. I remember seeing everybody at the hotel, seeing the competition, and I looked around and I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are monsters. Even the girls were animals. I was like, wow, this is going to be interesting. I was probably one of the smallest people there, which I'm used to already because I'm short. But I remember kind of my confidence was real high, and then it kind of went down a little bit. I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. But then that first challenge came and I was like, there's no doubt I'm going to crush this. I was very confident, and I knew that the bigger people would have problems in that first challenge. So I had it in my head already that I think that just the Ninja Warriors were going to beat me and maybe a couple more. So when I got up to the top, completing that course, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see how many little people were up there, but I knew that the Ninja Warriors would all be up there, So after the challenge 1 is where I kind of said in my mind, oh yeah, I'm here to stay. I could compete with people.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. That challenge literally blows my mind. Rewatching it too, I'm like, how can people do that? That's insane. So that's cool to hear that you finished it. Because a lot, how many people was it that didn't finish the challenge? Was it half?
Yeah, probably more than that. I think they showed it on behind the scenes. There was a lot of people that were just down on the mat. I felt terrible for them. Couldn't believe it, honestly. And I think that production thought that was going to go a little differently as well. I think they thought it was going to be a race to 50, and they barely got 50. So it's pretty wild to see.
Yeah, no, that's insane. So I guess seeing your competition and really seeing what you're in for, and maybe even before going into the game, did you know you were going to end up taking a bribe? And did you have a number in mind the whole time that you were going to take no matter what?
So I feel like when you go into these competitions, everyone has a number. But my number was 300,000. And that number was for a self-elimination bribe. If it got elimination, whereas hey, 300 and you could go, I probably would definitely consider it. So when that first bribe came of 100,000, wasn't even a thought in my mind. And then when it got to the captain's bribe, everything changed a little bit because now it's not a self-eliminating bribe, And so mindset changes for all of that.
Obviously, we're going to talk about the bribe a little later on. We want to cover stuff before, but that's interesting to hear. 300K, I know, obviously, yes, that is a lot of money. But in Beast Games, I'm like, 300K, at least go for 500K, So very interesting to hear. Did other people around you know?
No. I made it my business to keep that right in here. But you go into this competition thinking there's going to be thousands of people. So prior to me knowing what was happening, I was like, hey, 300 would be a nice number considering it's not easy to win it all. So I would like to leave with something at least, you know?
Yeah. That's a valid answer. I feel like my answer when I was like, what's my number? 5 million. I want the 5 mil. If you give me 5 mil to self-eliminate, sure, I'll leave. Kind of bringing it back to the episodes and going into episodes 2 and 3. Honestly, with 2, what did you pick in episode 2?
I played Ball's game.
Okay. Is there any like major highlights that maybe we didn't see in the show that you want to talk about from that you can remember?
Game?
Yeah.
I know that there was the rivalry between me and Akira. When I say Akira, you're finito. And then we kind of it. Akira's my guy though, you know? That's just our competitive nature in the moment. You know, when we get into the game modes, we're game moders, you know? It's just simple as that. So I know that was highlighted good. I mean, it looked pretty sick, man. The edits for that particular game was pretty wild. I mean, they made Akira look like an assassin villain. I mean, it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool, man. I wish I didn't miss on that throw when he was alone, but what are you gonna do?
That's so funny. Yeah, he has crazy plot armor. That one like part when everybody's throwing at him and he misses all of the balls still blows my mind. Like that's insane.
I don't know how he missed, honestly. It doesn't even make sense.
That's so funny.
So, since you were kind of against him in that game, in a sense, when you saw the OGs come in, were you like, oh, I should align with them? Or were you against the OGs more?
No, I know a lot of people were not happy when they came in. A lot of people around me were pissed off. And I was one of the people like, yo, this is awesome. I love this. Like, these people are pretty cool people, you know, for the most part. I didn't like all 10 of them, obviously, but I never once in my mind was like, I'm going to align with any of them. Me personally and a couple of other Strongs were like, hey, none of those 10 people can compete with any of us. And if it's a strong event. So I was like, I'll take those trade-offs any day of the week, you know? So I didn't necessarily want to alliance with any of them, but I didn't hate any of them either, you know? So it was interesting.
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective too, because I guess I haven't thought about it in the sense of like, even though they were being replaced with people who are still competitors, it's not the same as like the people who were picked to be the strong people and people who were picked to be the smart people. It's not really the same exchange. No offense to our OGs, of course, but you know, that's not the same. Well, continuing a little bit when you're talking about alliances and everything, how did you end up picking your team that ended up going for the obstacle course? Like, what were the dynamics of that decision?
So my core alliance was John, Brett, and Cory. And then obviously I grew very close with Tyler, Air Force, Nick, and all these other people as well. But those core 4 was it. And when that challenge came up where, hey, you got to form teams, you needed to incorporate smart players in there as well. We didn't account for those rules. So I needed at least 2 smarts. So me, Brett, Cory, and John decide, all right, Brett and Cory, you go this way. Me and John will go this way, and we'll try to find another team so that at least, because we can't be on the same team together. So by the time we finished that, me and John looked around and there was no one left. I mean, no one left. And it was just Brandon and Luke standing there. And I was like, you don't have a team, right? I guess you're with us. Mind you, I never spoke to them, period. I didn't even know anything about them. And then Mia was lurking. She was lurking, and then Brandon brought over Ella. And it was like, yeah, you need to choose between me and Ella. And I was like, you know what? I like Ella. She's cool. So, but Mia is more of a competitor from season 1. I got to see what she did in season 1. I know her game, essentially. So I was like, you know what? Let's take Mia. But long story short, that team was not my people's. That's what people really have to understand. And I wish they showed that in the show because me and John were the only true people in that crew. The other 3, I got to tell you, they don't do nothing for me. So
yeah, that gives a lot of context to like that makes sense. Like I don't know, all of it that just adds up with everything that we saw happen. But Eva, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I was just gonna say like, yeah, obviously it makes sense, and I think from a production standpoint, they didn't want the viewers to know that you weren't really close with them because then it's like, oh, you're not really betraying like your best friends. You know what I'm saying? So I see why maybe they didn't highlight that, but I love to hear it from you and hear the truth on this podcast. And that's why everyone has to listen to the podcast, right? You know the details.
Yeah, those are juice details right there.
And so what round did you guys go? For the obstacle course.
Obstacle course was episode 3.
But what round?
I was
of
the very
obstacle?
first team. The very first
Okay,
round.
that's what. Okay, that makes sense.
It was crazy going first. Terrible.
Yeah, but yeah, that kind of sucks because you didn't get to see like other people play it out.
Yeah, we didn't know how the balance beams moved. We didn't know how wet the course was. It started downpouring as soon as he was about to say go.
Oof.
I mean, it was his worst case scenario. And then we get the game choice, and that it worked out for me, obviously now. But in the moment, it's like, wow, the first person to hit the water loses for everyone. That's brutal, you know?
Yeah. And so, how did you
Yeah.
decide? Like, was there a discrepancy on who would go, or
That
no?
that was one thing that was pretty clear, set in stone. They were like, yo, JT, let's go.
Okay.
There was like no discussion with that one. It was like, hey, they're sending Avery. Who can match up with someone like that? And me and Avery are really similar in our build and our athleticism. So that was the choice there.
Okay, yeah. We low-key have beef with Avery because he's the one that got Akira out in balls. So
Yeah. It was a big play in the game. Big play.
yeah. So what was that relief like making it, or like seeing Avery fall? I guess obviously no hate to Avery, but
That team, they talked so much crap before that
Really?
challenge. They swore that our team was the weakest, that we had no chance, and they were just doing a whole lot of talking on the sidelines. So when Avery fell in, you could just see, I was like, yeah, everybody was just going nuts because it was like all that built up of, hey, you've been running your mouths to this team and you guys lost. You guys didn't even get a chance to move, actually. So it was like, it was kind of like, hey, sorry, man, you shouldn't have picked me first. That was my other big thing. You have 9 other teams there. There's no way that our team was the weakest for you to come at us first. So I think that was a terrible decision on their part. But I'm pretty cool with a lot of those players from that team, though. So it's all good.
Did they say the reasoning as to why they picked you, like your team?
Yeah, they said that we're weak. Nobody on. If you go one-on-one matchups, they pretty much said we go one-on-one matchups that we wouldn't be able to compete with them. And you know what? They might not be wrong about that. One-on-one, they might have had a better team, but we'll never know, We'll never know.
Yeah.
Guess we'll never
Jeez.
know.
Okay, well, great success on your end. So you got to chill for the rest of the rounds. I know that's a super nice feeling, just knowing that you made it through. You get to watch everyone kind of beef it out on the course. So obviously we do want to talk about the biggest round, the 5th and final round, and kind of just want your opinion on how that went down and maybe how you would have handled the situation. Like, would you have brought your jousting stick with you, or would you have just say, whoever makes it, makes it?
So that's a good question. That challenge, that round kind of sucked for everybody. That's a tough one. In the moment of the battle, when I was live there, not knowing anything, obviously Ian got a very bad rap in that one as being the villain. Fighting somebody that had no stick, a member of the smart team. I mean, there was a whole lot going against him there. And then when you actually understand the rules, understand what the team was trying to do, I could kind of understand where Tyler and Ian was coming from. The best chance they had was Tyler staying there and knocking everybody off. That was the chance they had. But once Tyler dropped, I didn't think Ian was going to be able to knock everybody off, especially once Vance took off. The minute Vance flew through, and you realize that your entire team can't get through no more, in my opinion, I know that Ian only cared about Tyler and Briley. Once Vance got through, Ian, your job was done, man, because you knew Mike was next and then Briley was next, and that would have been your final 5. So obviously, Ethan would have never got his chance, but the main thing for me was I kept saying, Ian, you don't give a crap about those smart players on your team. It is just a fact, because those 2 smart players were on my alliance, and Ian stole them from me at some point. So I know damn well you didn't care about those 2 guys. I think it was Inam and Omar. And I was on Inam's podcast recently, and I said the same exact thing. I said, Inam, you were with me, dude, and you know it. So I don't know how this happened, but it worked out the way it did, If I was on the course in that situation, I'm not taking my stick. I'm doing what Vance did. Get through as quickly as possible and just hope. I mean, but at the same time, if you don't take your stick, it's unfortunate, but members of your team are not going to make it through. It was a sucky situation for those players,
Yeah. Yeah, and it just sucks for yeah, like the people who didn't even get the chance to run through. That's just unfortunate,
Yeah.
and it's how the game goes, and that's what happens. But yeah, I would have been very upset if that's how I would have went out. And yeah, maybe I would hold that against Ian just because that's like part of the reason why I didn't get to go through. So it really difficult situation there. Entertaining to say the least. I'll say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like,
So
oh, that was like.
it was good TV for that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's kind of the opinion I wanted on that take. It's very like depending on what point of view you're looking at it from, Ian was sticking up for his team. Like, was he really being a villain if he wanted his team go? But that's a good point you make, how, he really just wanted certain people to make it through instead of his whole team. So yeah.
Exactly.
So after you see that final round happen, obviously it takes us into the captain bribes, your big moment here. And so we kind of already talked about your price, but when you were selected as leader, like, did you know, like, I'm hitting it no matter what?
No, not in the moment. When they selected me, I was like, all right, I don't know yet. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen up there. I don't know what it feels like when I get up there. Only 9 people in the whole world have ever been up there on those towers. So it's like, you know what? Let me wait to get up there, see how I'm feeling. And then Mr. Beast, of course, he starts reading off that sheet, about back home and all that. And it's like, man, come on, bro. You're bringing up real life now. Now it's time to get serious. So that was definitely a game changer with that.
Oh, I think that was a great addition to this season, like bringing you back into reality, bursting your bubble of Beast Games is not reality. You have a life back home. So I loved that they brought that in. It was just so good. Such a good twist. And I mean, obviously it worked. So yeah, that was really good. Did you think the other captains were going to take the bribe?
Nah, I was trying to get in some of their heads, but I knew nobody was going to touch it. It was just a matter of if it got past 1 million, would somebody have broke? And I think that would have been the case. You think if you would have sold 1.4, 1.5, etc., then I have to worry. So I didn't want to get it to that point. I'll take the worry out, and I'm good with the 1 million.
Yeah. So you didn't feel any sort of rush to like, I have to be the one to hit it, or were you like waiting for the 1 million, or what was your mindset in that moment?
Yeah, I said as soon as it gets to 1 million, I'm gonna hit it. I wasn't in no rush, and I wasn't worried if somebody else took it, because I knew none of them were gonna hit it. I knew it for a fact. Like it would have had to get to 1.5 or 2 million for somebody probably to have hit it on that panel. I was just comfortable and chilling at that point. I was trying to get in Hannah's head to see if she was gonna take it earlier. Because at the same time, if somebody took it ahead of me, I wouldn't have been that upset. Like, all right, cool, let's keep this game going, and then we'll see what happens.
Did you hear the rumors that it was going to go past 1 million when you were there?
That's yeah, I heard all the rumors and speculation. Some people say 1.5, some people say 2 million. But for me, I can't let that get in my head where I could have got more. It just sounds greedy at that point. It's like most game shows around the world don't even have $1 million grand prize. I'm here hitting a button for 1 million. I mean, I'm not in a Survivor game for 30 days, I'm hitting a button, having fun. So I'm all right with the 1 million. I'm not even listening to the rumors.
So when you were up there, like in the moment you hit the button, we see you kind of like turn away, almost like not looking at the people. What was that feeling? Did you feel guilty hitting it in that moment?
If you look, I hit it and I hit the knee. And when I turned to the left, I was kind of smiling. I was kind of laughing and smiling at first because it was like, holy crap, I just won $1 million. Like, wow. And then when I turned back to my right, I got serious. I'm like, man, I got to deal with this right now. It was dead silent in that city. It was bright red and you could hear a pin drop. And then you just hear Jimmy, someone hit it. He was so excited, going nuts. And I was just like, no, I don't know what to do right now. So I told Hannah, I said, oh my God, can I stay up here forever? I don't want to go back down there.
Oh my God.
I had 2 big emotions there. One was laughter and happiness because I was so excited. And then on the next second, it was, wow, people are pissed off down there. This is not good. So
yeah, very awkward situation. And then, so we kind of, after that, we saw you hit the line of like, I don't have much to say. And that's all I really got to say. Is that all you actually said?
You know what? I had it in my head right before I hit the button. I said, you know what? I have a feeling that they're going to started talking and chirping at me. I said, I have to remember my real life, my actual job, my living. I don't want to say something I'm going to regret when it's shown on TV. I said, let me just bite my tongue and not say a word. And, you know, Mia doing her natural stuff, running her mouth, that almost got me. But I can't let nonsense like that break me. So I was like, you know what? So originally I was like, all I got to say is I was about to say something slick. And then I said, nah, I got nothing to say. So that they almost got me. Well, it wasn't going to happen.
So did you see them at all? Like once that happened and you had the exchange at the top, did you see them afterwards, like at the bottom, or were they like taken away?
That is a great question. I think behind the scenes showed it. I came down from the tower. That was an awkward ride. And then when I stood next to Jimmy, Mr. Beast, in the money pile, and I think he allowed them to say words to me. And I think one of them said like, "Yo, look at me when I'm talking to you," or something like that. I was like, "Oh, ooh, we're serious right now. This is getting real out here."
Oh my
But
gosh.
they said their final piece. Everybody except for my boy John. He stood strong, my guy. But you know, Mia ran her mouth like she does best. Brandon and Luke were genuinely upset and sad, and I could 100% understand it. But you know, Mia, if we have a reunion and you show up, you're gonna hear my mouth that day. That's for sure.
Oof. Yee. Okay. Okay.
And
So I'm going to ask this question going off of that, but have you spoken with any of them since the show aired?
so John and I talk all the time. Me, him, Brett, Cory, Tyler. We got a whole thing going on. Nick and guys, the tight crew that I love. We talk all the time, so there's no bad blood. Mia, we are never gonna say a word to each other, so I'm okay with that. Luke, he's been MIA since the show. I don't know where he's been. And Brandon, I just saw for the first time at a watch party that Bryce and Wen did. Brandon kind of just said, "Hey, good game." I said, "You too," and that was the extent of our conversation as well. So not
Hey, I
much
mean,
to
at
say, really.
least, yeah, like you said, not much to say. But,
That's
you know,
why
at
there's
least,
no talking. There's no use.
yeah, yeah. But I feel like that kind of shows that Brandon kind of respected the gameplay, you know, so that's good to hear.
You know what? He did reach out to me on Instagram and he said something like, "Hey, you outplayed me. I respect it. It hurt in the moment, but it is what it is. You outplayed me." And you know what? I could respect him saying that. You know what I'm saying? He reached out
Mhm.
and he said the right thing. He didn't come at me or say anything disrespectful. So I could understand that.
That's good.
That makes sense. Did you feel like at the watch party, were you nervous at all to like be in a group of people watching it and being in the room with somebody who you got out?
You know what? Honestly, no, because if you saw it throughout the day, if you pay attention to like Google, Reddit, social media, the support that was pouring in from me, it was wild. It was like the whole world was like, "Yo, finally someone had a brain. Finally somebody did the right thing." And I didn't know the reaction was gonna be that dramatic in favor of myself. I was pretty happy in the moment. So when I got to that watch party, I was like, "Hey, I think that everyone kind of already agreed that it was the right decision in my moment on my team." Because if other teams had different dynamics, you know, different relationships and friendships, my team did not have that. So everyone could kind of understand where I was coming from.
Yeah. It was really cool to see too how much support you were getting for that decision. Cause I almost feel like if that happened on season one, that they would have become a villain, like the person who would have taken it. Ava, let me know if you disagree or not. But yeah, in my brain, they would have became the villain of the series until they got eliminated. But like for you, like even in the moment, everybody was cheering for you. Everybody's like, yes, like he did it, he did it. So it's really cool to see the different dynamic from season one to season two, how this is gameplay versus that would have been being a villain.
Mhm. When we were talking to Jim about it, he did make a really good point where it's like, obviously, season 2, there's a lot of different dynamics, but did the other 4 technically turn down $1 million for their team? Technically, no, because you took it. You know what I'm saying? So, should they be the heroes for not taking it, even though they might have
Oh,
if you didn't? You know,
ooh,
like,
that's
it's a,
true. We'll never know, you know? We'll never
yeah.
know. I do think that when season 1 they turned down the money, you did see a lot of people also around the world say, "How could they turn that down?" There was a lot of people
Mhm.
like, "I can't understand this." And then you watch the show and 3 of them get eliminated with no money. And it relatively quickly too. It's like, was that smart? Like, I'm confused. And I remember watching that. I watched that episode 100 times probably. And I sat there, I said, I do not understand how you could turn down $1 million in that situation. And I never in my life thought that I would be up there the next season. But I always said that from the jump. I always wanted to ask Dino because Dino's my guy. Dino, really, man? Come on, brother. Look how they did you dirty at the end of the show. Come on now. So, like, I don't know, man. I think everyone was kind of just waiting for that moment. And you know what? Sometimes being a villain's not a bad thing, you know? People enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, and you weren't even villainized for it, so
yeah, you
even if you're a villain
villain.
with a villain with $1
Yeah.
million, I mean, maybe I'll be a villain. Like, geez.
Eh.
So, any exciting purchases now that I guess the milli has hit your bank account? Wait, why didn't you buy everyone drinks at the watch party?
Wait.
Well, everybody at the
Wait a
watch
minute.
party was asking, trust me. And you had to catch me at the right moment because I was buying shots and drinks here and there for people that were walking by. You guys just didn't walk at the right moment, you know?
Oh,
Dang.
man.
Yeah, we missed out. We missed out.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It's interesting, right? You see that in your account and it's like, no, I got to be careful right now because it could get dangerous quick. So I have not done any big purchases, any debt, credit card debt, anything like that. My house, stuff like that. I kind of took care of that, which is kind of nice to see everything at zero now. It's like, wow, I probably need to go take some vacations or something though. I mean, I think that I think my girl deserves that at this point after everything she dealt with. So
Where would you go?
Maybe Greece or something like that. Greece, Italy, Amsterdam, something. Just get away, you know?
Yeah, you got to. You got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to enjoy it, I feel like.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. And then another moment that we saw, like during the Captain Bribe, I can't remember who said it, but didn't somebody make a comment about like how they were going to tell the people you work with if you took the bribe? Did anything happen with that? How did people you work with react?
So that was Brandon. He happened to live 3 blocks from my job, which was the New York State Court Officer Academy. So we have all the academy instructors there. He said he was going to go to the job, tell my boys I'm not loyal, all the nonsense. That just would not have ever happened. He wouldn't have been allowed through the front door. We don't let the public into that building. Also, my coworkers loved my decision and said they would have killed me if I did not hit that button. So
Right.
that whole week that they were waiting after they saw like the cliffhanger, they all were like, you better have hit that. I don't give a crap. So I don't know what would have happened if Brandon came, but not much would have came from that, you know?
Yeah.
I thought that was not a clever way. He later said in a podcast that he was trying to get in my head about the law enforcement thing. And what he doesn't realize is that that's a serious thing we're talking about here. You're talking about sometimes life and death situations in law enforcement where you're trying to turn people against me in the law enforcement world, saying that my recruits are not going to trust me no more, all that's completely, I can't mess with that because I take my job very serious. I do everything the right way. I teach the recruits the right laws, the right way to do their job. So for him to even try to use that against me, that one I told him I can't live with that one, man. You know? So separate real life and gameplay sometimes.
Yeah, that's literally exactly what I was going to say. You just got to separate gameplay from real life. And it's hard when emotions are brought into it, but you know, it's a game. It's a game after all. So I'm kind of curious, after you came down, you know, that night in the city or day, whatever time of day it was, what was the vibe like in the city? Were people trying to befriend you? Were people congratulating you? Like, how was that?
So everything was fine. I had a lot of strong alliances, and that's what people failed to realize is that I got rid of that team, but my closest friends were still in the city at that point, minus John. So I was kind of just chilling. But the biggest thing for me was I just needed a minute to myself. And it was very hard to do after that because, you know, the cameras were constantly interviewing and questioning. And it was hard to get like a moment to myself. I think they showed me in the gym by myself a couple times, but I was mentally stressed out in that moment. so I really wasn't paying attention to people. I know that me and Briley had a discrepancy afterwards because she was kind of defending Ian about the obstacle course, and she's like, "How can you did almost the exact same thing as him? How come you called him out?" I was like, "No, no, 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 not the same thing at all, not even close to the same thing." So we had that, and then I know there was some drama because Jim, not Jimmy, Jim and Monica, Jim was like, JT's a monster. Oh my God, he's a monster. And 2 seconds later, he came to hang out with me, eat dinner with me. And people were like, yo, no, no, no. You were just talking crap about him in the interview. Tell him to his face. So I was like, Jim, what's up, man? You feeling some type of way? But me and Jim are cool, man. I got nothing but respect for him. So there was some drama, but at the same time, nothing really serious, you know? People kind of understood why I got rid of my team at that moment.
And I feel like, in a way, a lot of people were probably in their head like, dang, if I was in his position, would I have done that? Probably, maybe. Right. Especially if it went even higher than $1 million. You really don't know how people's minds changed as soon as the money starts going up. Yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion on that.
It would have been interesting to see that keep going, honestly. I would have loved to see how high that got.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 2 mil.
Oh, man. How do you turn that down, right? I don't care how loyal you are. It's almost half the prize pool. I mean, that's a different ballgame. I don't know.
Yeah. And I guess going off of like continuing the conversation about alliances, how did they change it all during the time while everybody else was competing for the island to when you got to cubes? Like, do you feel like you had a big shift at all with your alliances, or was it like when you got done with the bribe, those are the same people you would have picked to be in the cube with?
Well, yeah, it worked out nicely. Me, Brett, and Cory all didn't go to the island, and we were tight from day one. So it was one of those where it's like, hey, we'll just keep hanging out, man. But then, of course, that week that they were in the island or whatever, you just get a little closer, and then I got closer to Tyler. I got closer to Jack and some other people that I was like, yo, there's some good people here. We had a good crew in the city. So me, Brett, and Cory just kept sticking around together. It was like, it's one of those things, you know? So
yeah. I have a question about like, they showed the dynamic of, it's the Islanders versus the Beast City people. Was that coming from your guys' side too? Or did you guys realize that after they came back from the island and heard everything that happened? Like, were you guys like, oh, I would stick up for these 10 people in Beast City with me right now compared to the 10 on the island?
For me personally, and even Brett and Cory, just because I know them really well, I can't speak for anybody else, but we didn't feel any tension personally. I didn't even know until I watched the episode that there was a city. That was the best part. I'm watching the episode like, oh, wow. I didn't even know that was happening, huh? Because at the end of the day, I was kind of cool with everybody. There wasn't one person or whatever that I was like, yo, you know, I know me and Ian had our beef on the show left and right, but even that, I was like, yo, I don't really care, you know? So I didn't see it as island versus city, but supposedly there was some drama and some alliances forming. Who knows?
So it was pretty easy for you to pick a Cory and Brett for the cubes, I'm assuming. Was there any discrepancies there when everyone was choosing the team? Like, were you guys like, wait, should we all go in together knowing that one of us is going home? How was that?
It's funny, right? In the moment, we did what was right. We picked us three knowing that at least two of us are going to move on. And then we could accept, hey, two good people are going to move on, which is nice. But in the back of my mind, I was like, how cool would it be if Ian and JC or me, Ian and Jeff went in a cube where it's all like the millionaires or people with money. It's like, hey, two of us are coming out. This could get interesting right now, you know?
Yeah.
But then do you trust the same people? Like if me and Ian were in a cube together, do we trust that one of us would cuff for the other person? So you kind of want to pick your favorite people, your most trustworthy people, so that you could guarantee at least if you lose, you know that person's going to cuff themselves. So looking back on it, I know people wanted to see. I know people didn't want all of us, you know, to get eliminated the way we did, but it is what it is. It's the right thing to do, unfortunately.
So in the show, we see it like when you're getting your hair cut. It seems like that's the moment you fully decide that that's what you're going to do. Is that like true, or did you kind of already start thinking like, oh, I'm going to do this? Or were you going back and forth like, we should do something to see who goes? Or where was your mind throughout your whole stay in the cube?
So the first few hours, I was kind of like just going back and forth in my mind. I'm like, I kept going like, hey, I gotta let these guys get through, man. Like, it's only right. I already eliminated John, who was one of our good friends. How it's gonna look if I eliminated another one of them, you know? And it's like, and I went back and forth. It was a hard few hours, and then I got to hear Cory's family. You know, Brett's getting married this year, and it's like, dude, I won 1 million already, and so I kind of started saying I need like a sign, God, you know, because Cory was reading the Bible in the cube at one point, and I said, damn, if I could just get a sign, I think I would just self-eliminate right now if I just had a sign. So backtrack about 2 hours from that moment, I had ordered the barber. I ordered the barber, and it was already coming up on a couple of hours. I was like, all right, I guess I'm not getting a haircut, so that sucks. And when I said to Cory and Brett, I just need a sign, the barber walks through the cube. And that's why you see me like, you're the barber? I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, wow, that couldn't have happened any crazier. And then that moment, you already know, all right, this is going to be my final goodbye. And then another thing that hit me too was when Ian self-eliminated, and then I hear Jeff has been eliminated. I was like, I see what's happening here. I see the million guys are gone. I already know what's about to happen. And I felt good about that decision once I got my hair cut. My hair was a mess. My beard was long. I hated it. I had to go out in style just a little bit, you know?
Oh, that's so funny. Well, not funny, pretty
Yeah.
sad, but funny about the hairstyle part.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to make that clear. And so obviously your block or your cube got really emotional towards the end because you came to that decision. But before that, were you guys having fun at any point? Like, did you guys ask for anything that maybe we didn't see that you got or didn't get in the cube?
So it's funny, if you look at all the cubes, it looked like ours was like the most boring. I know we ordered pizza. People were ordering filet mignon and stuff. We did, I think, like Vance's cube, we did order a live tiger.
Oh yeah.
And when Cory ordered that, I just kept saying, yo, brother, if a tiger walks through this cube, I'm out of here. I'm jumping out.
Yeah.
There's no way I trust this, man. And I was a little nervous for like 10, 15 minutes. I was like, you can't be bringing a tiger, right? So I was like, all right, that's crazy. But then like Brett ordered the guitar, I ordered the piano. And I know they had me faking the piano, but I actually do play piano. So I was playing, he was playing. We had a little jam out. You hear me in there saying we're going to be like the Titanic. We're just going to play until we sink right now. What else? I think we got basketballs. We got some food and candy, but we didn't really, we weren't even thinking about comfy chairs or anything. Like, we were sitting on the floor for hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I watched the episode. I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? I think this is a very emotional trio. And we were kind of just like, we don't care about all this extra stuff. We just want to figure this out. So it was an interesting cube for sure.
So looking back, would you have asked for something else now that you're not in that mind state? What would you ask for?
Yeah, starting with Starbucks. That would have been the first thing I ordered because I couldn't.
Right,
I was like,
right.
August, are you kidding me, man? You know what it is? We had Starbucks 24/7. I was done with that. I'm like, I want Ghost energy drinks, so I'm ordering Ghost energy drinks because I haven't had it in a while. That one hit me. I was like, damn, Starbucks for life. But
Yeah.
definitely a comfy one of those beanbag chairs were. That would have been the first thing because we were miserable on the floor for hours. And I was like, oh.
Man.
And then honestly, I don't think there was anything else I would have ordered. I just needed a comfy chair and I could have sat there. I didn't even know I was in there for 9-10 hours at that point. So who
Wow.
knows? Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
Could you
that's
hear
crazy.
the other cubes like around you at all? No.
It was dead silent. The only thing you could hear is when there was an elimination, Jimmy would announce it on the loudspeaker. So that's when you see our reactions and stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I don't know. I just feel like in our cubes, we could hear everything. We heard people singing karaoke. People were yelling, and everyone was like, shut up, shut up. Like, people were getting mad. People were getting so mad in our cubes.
It's crazy.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
yeah, you couldn't hear a thing.
It's probably
Wow.
because we had a lot more cubes, a lot more people just like doing random stuff. So that's probably why. But
I could imagine.
that's interesting. Yeah, because I also could see, like, from my cube, I could see, like, if I looked out the window, I could see someone else's cube. I could see, like, their door open. Someone got a hot tub. And I'm like, what are you doing with a hot tub in there with no water? Come on now.
No, I remember I looked through the peephole. There was like a little circle, and I was like, "Guys, there's a horse outside. There's a horse! Like, literally, why is there a horse?"
That was nuts. I think I would have ordered a masseuse though. That one I
Mm.
would have probably did differently. Get a little massage too right before the haircut. But I wasn't thinking clearly in there. I already knew what was about to happen for me at least. So it was a very emotional cube for me. And I think you hear me say it on the show when I talk to Brett and Cory. I say, I truly think any one of us three could win it all. And I think that was my biggest thing in my mind. Like, I know that I could make it to the finals. Like, I feel it. But at the same time, it's going to be very hard. You've seen last season, if you got a lot of money, it's very hard to make it. I don't know the challenges and stuff that are coming up, but I just find it hard to believe that someone that won $1 million would make it all the way to the final 3 or something. So I feel good about the decision.
Yeah, I agree. And especially because it's two people that you really, really cared about, have had a connection with since basically like the start of the game. It's just, I think it was definitely the right decision on your end. And I feel like you would have regretted it if one of the other two in your cube went home and you didn't. And then you got voted out next episode because you have the $1 million, So it was best decision you could have made, I think. Going out on a good note too.
Absolutely. That kept running through my mind. I said, all right, if I make it out this cube and I eliminate Cory and then I get eliminated next episode, it's like, wow. Man, I look bad, honestly. Really bad.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But they're genuinely great people. Right? And Cory, like, I'm sure the world knows it, but those two people are good people, good family people too. So I got nothing but respect for them.
Dude, yeah, we haven't talked to Brett much, but Cory is like our number one supporter, dude. We love Cory. He likes all of our stuff. We're gonna have him on the podcast a little later on, but yeah, he's awesome. So.
Cory hypes up everybody. If you need someone to hype you up, this guy is such a nice dude. He just wants everybody to succeed and do well in life. I mean, how can you not like somebody like that? It's amazing.
Awesome. And always the 3 fire emojis everywhere.
He loves those emojis.
Okay, I guess before we get to our closing questions, is there anything you want to talk about from the cubes that maybe we didn't see in the show?
Nah, there was a moment where Brett, it got really emotional. Like, I'm talking, Brett was playing the guitar. He was playing Something in the Orange, which I never heard that song by Zach Brown. I think that's his name, Zach Brown. He was playing it and he was singing it too. I didn't know Brett could sing at that time. And he's singing that. He's playing it and Cory's reading the Bible. And I'm just sitting there like, I got tears coming down my eyes. I'm like, this is the moment right here. I was surprised they didn't show that in the episode, but that was the moment that I was like, that one hit. So like you saw on my Instagram, I posted something with Something in the Orange in it. And then Cory posted something and it had Something in the Orange in it. And Brett is like, dude, you guys are killing me, man. This is sad. So it's like that one I thought they were going to show in there. That was pretty cool, but everything else was pretty much how our cube went down.
At least that's a moment that you guys can share without the whole world seeing, It's like a moment that you guys have together.
That is true. Very true. Never forget it.
Yeah, dang. I wonder if it was because it was a song that they just couldn't include it.
I think it was a copyright issue. That's just my opinion. I kind of agree.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, any other moments from the show that didn't make it in? Those could be more fun or whatever, or crazy, that you want to share with the world?
I think Vance said it in your podcast recently when we had we made a member of the SMART team, a strong member. I think he said something about that.
Yeah.
No, that should have made it, man. That should have made it. That was, I think his name is Raquel, something like that. He wanted to be a strong guy so bad that we were like, you know what? Cape him up. Let's do it. Put a cape on him and make him a strong player. And he hung out with us nonstop. It was so funny. It was awesome. That was a good moment. It was a good moment, honestly. But yeah, that's really it. Honestly, everything they showed, I was good with it. I was definitely good with it.
So do you have any regrets from the game, even though you went on a good note?
No, I tell everybody the same thing. Zero regrets. Everything you heard me say, how I talked, everything is literally me. I didn't put on a different voice or personality for the camera. How I feel is how I feel, and how I talk is how I talk. There were a lot of good, funny one-liners that they threw in there that people always message me about, and that's literally who I am as a person. So I was good with all of it. So no complaints, no regrets. I mean, I took home $1 million. I had a blast. Hopefully they call me back for something else because I'm always ready.
There you go.
I was going to say, we always have that question, but I guess you just answered it. But just to officially ask, would you return to Beast Games?
Well, yeah, I return to YouTube videos, Beast Games Season 3, Beast Games anything. I'm ready. They call me, I'm out, ready to roll.
And
Mr.
what
Beast, bring
advice?
him back.
Yeah, bring him back, Mr. Beast.
Yeah, you have to at this point. Let's do it.
Yeah, for the plot. But yeah, any advice you'd give to people that are going to be on Beast Games in the future?
Yeah, I would say be very careful who you trust. People are gonna say that they won't take bribes. People are gonna say, "Yo, I got you. You're my guy," and then that is just not the case. I would say, really get to know people on a personal level, see what kind of character they have, and then also be yourself. There were people that were trying, show off for the camera or be someone they're not, and it doesn't ever work out, and it's fake. You can never go wrong being yourself, talking how you are, and just being genuine. You try to do too much or show off. Those are the people that usually don't do well in these competitions. But that's my biggest advice. And if you wanna be seen on camera, have some funny moments, man. If there's an opportunity for you to say something and it's funny, say it. As long as it's not derogatory or anything crazy, show who you are. So that's my advice to people.
I love that.
One more
Yeah.
thing. If you're going on that show to win money, then bribing out is probably your best bet because you ain't making it to the end. It's very hard. Very hard. If you're going there, to make it to the end, Captain Bribes or anything like that, it's kind of tough. It's going to be very hard for you to make it to the end. So it depends. Have a number and really stick with that. If your number's 100K, when 100K is offered, don't be like, nah, I'm good. Because when you get eliminated the next episode, you're going to be so mad at yourself that you could have took home that money. So have a number, stick with it, or just say, hey, I'm going all the way. I don't care what happens in between. So we'll see.
I
There
think
you
that's
go.
great advice.
Take the
Yeah.
money. Take the money.
Take the money.
Yeah. And I feel like it's like, whatever mindset you go in the game having, you should stick to it. If you're going in for money, stick with the money. If you're going in for the experience and to try and make it to the end, then stick to it, because if you don't, you're going to regret it if something goes wrong on your end. So really great advice from you, JT. And also your character speaks volumes. You're this very lovable person on camera and off camera. We got to meet you at the watch party, and it was just awesome being able to meet you in person and have conversations with you. So shout out to you for just being an awesome person, honestly.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Seriously. Means a lot. It does.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap us out here. Do you want to shout out any of your social media pages or anything that you want the world to know? Anything like that?
Yeah. My biggest page that I use a lot is Instagram. You can find me at JT5I. And then I know that they made me start a Twitter, the X account. They made me start that one recently. So I just did that one. That's at JTBeast5IVE. That one, I don't really know what I'm doing on X, but I posted my first tweet and it got 8 million views. So I was like, oh man, this is kind of cool. And then Mr. Beast reposted it. And I was like, wow, all right, works for me. This is legendary stuff right here. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I guess I'll pay attention to X too now.
Yeah.
But definitely, I post the Beast content on Instagram and stuff, and then I post my fitness content as well. So that's where you can find me.
So that's all we have here. Any last words? Do you have any last words?
No, I'm just gonna drink my shake here and be good.
Oh, the Feastable shake.
Oh, good.
Chilling.
Okay, maybe you need that sponsorship too.
Yeah.
Get
Oh my
coming.
gosh.
Yo.
You were ready.
Always.
Product placement's like the perfect product placement. Well, that brings us to the end of this podcast episode. Thank you so much for listening along with us. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to JT's Beast Games experience, and I hope you're excited for the rest of the season to drop. Make sure to check out our behind the scenes content for Beast Games Season 2. We were on set and we got to interact with some awesome contestants, so go check that out. But make sure to like this podcast, subscribe to our channel, and we will talk to you soon.
See ya.